welcome to the collaboration panel.
Whee! Do a magic trick.
No, we're talking about collabs, Hannah.
Right now.
So, first of all, to start off with, what, in your opinion, is an example of a really great collab? What's a collab done well? Either a collab you've done or just a collab you've seen that you think is a really great example of a collab done well?
I think when personalities mesh really well, every now and then, like, I feel like when I collab, sometimes it's a little bit awkward if you like don't know the person very well. So I feel like it's really good and comes off well if you know the person pretty well and you like mesh well and just have a good time. Because it's not fun to watch an awkward situation. Well, sometimes it is, but yeah.
Yeah, so you pretty much try and collab with people that you know primarily, right?
But also new people is good too. But I feel like you should at least like get to know them first before you just like run into a room and like try and make a video. So.
Yeah, just, hey, sit here on the sofa, I'll sit on the sofa, let's do a video. And
I've done it a few times, so get to know the person first.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's always good to have like a rapport with the person you're collabing with because it just makes the video more interesting. Like, oh geez. With like the drunk advice videos, me and the person I'm collabing with will like have drinks and just chat and just hang out for like a good hour or two before we start filming. So then by the time the camera's rolling, it's like, we're best friends. Like, it's happening. Another thing that I think makes a really good collab is when you like really utilize the skills and the knowledge and the niche maybe of the other person. So say if like I wanted to make a video about mental health or something, and I brought on another YouTuber who like already talks about that a lot on their channel, and so then I bring them on and I'm like using their skills and their knowledge and being like, and then talking to them about that, and then maybe if I'm on their channel, then we'll talk about sex and relationships and things like that. So it's about like having that really great crossover of like, I just love it when I can really use someone. Like, what are you good at? What do you want to talk about? What can you bring to the table, and what would be like your dream outcome in terms of like what do you think my audience can learn from you? Yeah, that's kind of what I think is a good collab.
The best collab's the collab that's got the most footage. Like if you've sat there and had so much fun with that person, you've got an hour and a half of you like just being, there's no PC way of saying it. So if you're just being idiots together, like that's fine. As long as you've had fun and then the people watching are gonna have fun.
I think the best collab's Michelle Obama and James Corden. Hands down. But I think you can really tell when there's chemistry on a collaboration. And if it's a collaboration, like Hannah said, with purpose, and you're using each other's skills and what you offer on each other's channels. We did one with Meow It's Lucy recently, or whatever, Lucy Moon, whatever. I don't want to insult Lucy's channel name. Lucy Moon, and she talks a lot about university. We went to university, but I don't ever talk about that. So we use that as like a platform to say, hey, let's talk about uni. She did a candy trying video because highbrow. So it's just a way of exploring things you don't normally talk about, and it's a foothold into it.
A couple of collabs that I've done that I felt like were the most fun and the most like interesting is I did a video a few months ago with this family vlog channel, and if you guys know about what I do at all, I don't family vlog, so I think it's really fun to kind of, as something different, collaborate with people who, as kind of Hannah was saying, like are in their own niche, and so to kind of like dabble in there. So I literally just like played with a baby and tried to figure out how babies functioned and like changed its diaper and things like that. And then another video I did that I felt like was a fun example of like collaboration was I did a video with this Russian YouTuber named Edward. And he doesn't really speak English. I don't speak Russian. And the whole time I'm just like asking him questions about his love life, and he's getting so uncomfortable because he like doesn't know what I'm asking him, but he knows it's like kind of intrusive. And so I think just like I have a really good time taking people who do things that are very different than me and like finding ways to smash it together.
Good stuff. We've already started going into this a little bit now, but how do your ideas generally for collabs start out? Do you have an idea first and then you think, oh, who would be really good for that idea? Or do you think, oh, this is the person I want to collab with, now what idea can we do together? Yeah, can we start off with John, is that all right? I'm kind of intrigued by the video you did with Thomas Sanders.
Oh, Tom, yeah, right. With that, yeah, we were fans of each other for a long time. So I think it starts with like an interest in someone's content, and then it goes from there. With him, I just asked him what he would be game for, and he said, I will do anything that you put in front of me. And I was like, great. So yeah, I came up with that, the idea. If you haven't seen the video, it's a parody of anything you can do, I can do better, but it's a YouTube versus Vine parody. Yeah, and I wrote it a few days before we shot. I gave him the script the night before, and he learned the whole thing in like 30 minutes because he's just a professional, great performer. Yeah, but that just came out of me knowing what he was good at and playing to his strengths and my own.
I think for me it varies, and like there might be someone whose content I admire or a friend that I've not collabed with yet, and I'm like, I want to make a video with you, but I don't know what yet. But I hate forcing it, so I'll never like just make a collab, do a collab for the sake of a collab. Like it has to be, for me, it has to be something where we're like, oh, I want to make a video about this kind of thing, or it will just come out of conversations with people. So Stephen and I are yet to collab, but we have such a great idea.
Yeah, it's
and we've been talking about this for so long, but this has literally just come out of us like being in the pub and just like having a chat. Like one day I just asked Stephen like, where are all the female magicians though? And then he was like, oh, I have some answers to that. I can talk about that. And I was like, okay, save it. We're gonna talk about it on camera.
Yeah, we've been planning that for like a year.
Yeah,
We should do
it
that
will
sometime.
happen.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, make sure we do it, guys. Now we've put it out there. Like,
It's gonna happen.
but it's things like that, like you wanna, like, he has an interest in magic, I've got an interest in feminism, and I'm like, what about the female magicians though? Why are all the women just the glamorous assistant getting chopped in half? What's that about?
I want to
So-
see that video.
Thank you.
Yeah, do
okay,
it.
now we have to make it.
I want to see that.
Stuff. What about you, Josh? Any thoughts?
I think it can vary. Sometimes you can have an idea and you can think of someone who'd be perfect to do that video with you. But as you've just said, sometimes I'd be hanging out with one of my friends and we'll see something funny or talk about something funny together and think like, shit, that could be something really funny to put on the internet. And you go from there. So yeah, I don't think it's so set in stone which way around it works. It's just more of a natural thing.
I think
yeah.
also you get series as well. Like I know for sure Hannah has drunk advice, and if you know, wow, I know someone that would fit perfectly, like a twins couple. I know who would fit in this, and it would work really well. And it's also in series. If you've got a format that you couldn't, I don't think I could sit there and chat nonsense with someone for a while. But if I've got a format, this would work really well. Then you can attach people to that, and it works really well. I said really well a lot.
Most of you so far have mentioned the idea that you like to collaborate with people that you know or have a good relationship with. What about people that you don't know? Do you ever collaborate with people you haven't really met before? How do you go about approaching that? Do you send them an email? What do you do? Or do you just stick to people that you know? And how would you recommend that people go about approaching collabs with people that they don't know?
I think if it's someone you don't know, it would come down to it being a really good idea. Like if that person or you had a really good idea for a video, then and you both like the idea, then why not? But yeah, I mean, it would have to come down to there being a good idea for it. Otherwise, it would be a bit awkward, probably.
I feel like it starts just casually talking to them. Like, you guys know Tana Mojo? I love her. But I've been a fan of her videos for a while, and she was a fan of mine, and we just started casually talking. I saw her playlist and stuff, and we just were tweeting back and forth, and eventually we were just like, hey, let's collab. So I feel like you should just start with like getting to know them, and then eventually it'll just like lead into the conversation.
I think sometimes you can find yourself in a situation where you can't get to know them. And not unfortunately, actually, it's great to do. We sat down with Ed Miliband. Anyone know who that Ed Miliband is? Yes. We sat down with Ed Miliband, a corridor full of his aides and like PR people, and I was like, okay. One sassy PR woman was like, what's the point of this? I was like, it's YouTube. There is no point. So we sat there and we just got put in the moment to sit with Ed Miliband, who is such a cool guy. He's like a dad.
Is there a Millie fandom here?
Anyway, Millie fandom peeps, yeah? Yeah. I'm totally, yeah.
In that instance, it's amazing what you can save with an edit. Like,
Crashing.
Ed Miliband is, for all intents and purposes, a legend, but he's a politician, so there's only so much, like, humor you can have in that video without having to save it in the edit. So
Just
that's a
say
different instance.
Boring.
No, he's not boring. I love
Politicians are boring. So we had to really edit that a lot.
Also, to add on with what you said before, it is important to like talk with them before you film. I collabed with Shay Mitchell recently, and I'm a huge fan of her, and I was so nervous. So when she came over, we just sat around for like a couple hours and like talked and got to know each other, and it really helped for the video. If we had like just right away had filmed, it would have been really awkward. So that's a really good point. Yeah.
I think also in terms of, like, I like collaborating with people I know, but I also like collabing with, like, people I don't know that well. And I think just an important element that I found is bringing the getting to know them into the video. So I collab with someone at Playlist, if you guys know her, Call is Cool. And we had been like chatting, like internet pals, but that was like the second day we'd ever met. So just as part of the video at the beginning, I was like, okay, who are you? Like, where did we meet? Like, let's like get to know each other. And I cut like some of it, but I think that was a good way to like warm it all up, and we were on camera and performing, but also just like bonding and being pals.
I don't make a lot of personality-based content, and I never do personality-based collaboration, so it's a little different approach for me. But when it comes to collaborating with people, I always try to collab up. So that means like if they're offering something that I could never bring to the table, then that's a good decision. It's a good collaboration if I respect what they're making. So a lot of times I'll reach out to people that aren't huge YouTubers but are amazing artists. Like I just reached out to this a cappella group that isn't really big on YouTube, but if we were to collaborate together, there could be this opportunity for an amazing video. So yeah, whenever I do that, I write up an email that sort of explains who I am. I put my best videos in like a portfolio format, and then I pitch them an idea. And that really works for me, is when I pitch an idea, I show them that I'm a fan of them and I respect what they do, and then they can come back to me with a yes or no or maybe, which is always solid.
So you always think it's better to come to someone with an idea that's finished than just, hey, let's collab?
Yeah, if it's not like you're getting to know them or you're doing a challenge video or something like that, it can be more tricky to get collaboration because it takes a lot of prep work. And so if you're making a song together, then obviously it requires a lot of pre-production. So yeah, you want to come at them with an idea so that they know somewhat what they're getting into. Because you never want to put an artist in a situation where they don't want to make the video with you. If it's not great. If it's not a great idea, I think that's where it starts. With videos that aren't personality-based, it starts with an idea that could be popular, and that's it.
I think, yeah, people are going to take you so much more seriously if you already come and you go, oh, I've got this idea, this is why it would work really nicely for you, and things like that. Do you always approach it with the standard kind of like one video for my channel, one video for their channel? Yeah, how do you approach that? Is that
That's tricky
thing?
because you never want to be like, so, are we doing a video on your channel too? I want them subs. I always approach it with, I just say, I would love to have you as a guest on my channel. In case they don't want one on their channel, they're not pressured. And if they want one, then they usually will be like, yeah, can we do one on my channel too? So I always just say first, could do a video for my channel.
Yeah, I feel like you should never take it for granted. Like you should never assume that it's going to be like a cross collab, like one on each channel. I always feel like it's really great when it is, especially like if it's one of my like more discussion videos where I bring someone in and like rack their brain a little bit, then it's always good to like maybe have two different kind of relating topics like sitting on each channel, so they really do nicely feed into each other. Like I did a video with Lex Croucher, and like on my channel we talked about porn, and then on her channel we talked about sex education. So that, you know, they're different videos, but they like are related. But then when it comes to drunk advice, I never assume we're going to make a video on their channel. I just invite them on to drunk advice, and then if they have an idea and if they want to make something too, then that's a bonus. But for drunk advice, it's kind of like, hey, come be on drunk advice. If you want to do something for your channel, I'm game, but no pressure. That's kind of what I say.
That kind of goes off what John said about if you're collabing with someone that is going to bring something to your channel that wouldn't be there anyway. Obviously, if you're not assuming it's going to be a two-way collab, it wouldn't matter so much because you're making something you wouldn't otherwise make. So it's still a great situation where you've made something that's great and everyone's enjoying it.